Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. In 1980, a Chinese scientist walked alone into Lop Nur. And then, it was as if he had vanished from the world. He never came back. The only thing he left behind was a single note. On it he wrote, "I'm going east to look for a water well." For decades after that, the search never stopped. But in the end, people found almost nothing. No body, no clear trace, no answer. All that remained was a mystery that still hasn't been explained to this day. And the place where he disappeared was called Lop Nur, a place where an ancient city could vanish from history. A place where a body could lie for thousands of years and still look almost alive. And a place where a living person could disappear without leaving behind a single trace. Today, we're going to step into one of the most mysterious and terrifying places in China, Lop Nur. But the truly unsettling thing about Lop Nur is not how barren it is today. It's the fact that it was not always like this. If you could go back 2,000 years, you would see a completely different place. There was water here, and not just a little water. There was once a massive lake. The water stretched far into the distance. And instead of the dead desert we see today, there were oases, plants, and land where people could actually survive. And because of that water, human life slowly began to take root around Lop Nur. Roads appeared, settlements formed, and eventually, entire civilizations began to rise. But here's the disturbing part. A place that should have supported life slowly began to disappear. And it didn't vanish overnight. It died slowly. The water level dropped bit by bit. Rivers began to change course. The oases started to shrink. At first, maybe no one realized how serious it was becoming. But by the time the water truly pulled back, it was already too late. The lake was no longer a lake. All that remained was a cracked lake bed and a thick crust of salt. And when the wind blew, the traces of the people who had once lived there were slowly buried beneath the sand. A place that had once been able to support life and civilization eventually became a land of death.
But the real question is, how did it end up like this? And as the lake disappeared, it changed the fate of the civilizations around it too. The most famous of them was Loulan.
And that brings us to one of the oldest and most famous mysteries of Lop Nur, how the ancient city of Loulan vanished. If the first unsettling mystery of Lop Nur is how a massive lake slowly died, then the next thing that turned this land into legend was Loulan. For many people, Loulan is just a mysterious name. But in reality, it was not a myth. It was a real kingdom that once existed. Some accounts suggest that Loulan was founded around 176 BC, and by around 630 AD, it had faded from history. That means it lasted for roughly 800 years, more than 2,000 years ago. In what is now southeastern Xinjiang, around the Lop Nur region, Loulan was once an important stop along the Silk Road. Merchants and travelers from different directions passed through this place. Goods were exchanged here, cultures met here. It was not just a lonely ruin in the desert. It was a real oasis city that had once flourished. At that time, Loulan survived because of water and prospered because of trade. For a while, it was seen as a rare paradise on the edge of the desert. But no one could have imagined that a kingdom once so prosperous would slowly disappear into the sand. As time went on, water sources declined, rivers changed course, and the oasis that had sustained Loulan began to wither away. Roads that had once been busy grew silent. Places where people had once lived were slowly buried by wind and sand. In the end, Loulan was forgotten by history, leaving behind only a vague and mysterious name. It was not until modern times that a Swedish geographer and explorer, Sven Hedin, brought that name back into the world's attention. In 1899, during his second expedition into Xinjiang, Hedin traveled deep into the Tarim Basin and the Lop Nur region. In that vast and desolate desert, he had originally been searching for clues about ancient waterways and geography. Instead, he stumbled across something unexpected: the remains of an ancient site buried beneath the sand. According to later records, as Hedin and his team moved through the Lop Nur area, they began to notice unusual signs of human activity. Broken wood, ruined structures, ancient documents, and the remains of long-abandoned buildings. As they searched further, they gradually realized that the half-buried ruins before them were very likely the lost site of Loulan. Later, Hedden also discovered wooden slips, documents, and the remains of houses. Those discoveries brought Loulan back into the modern world. In other words, Loulan had not truly vanished. It had simply been buried by wind and sand for more than 1,000 years. But once Loulan was rediscovered, a much bigger question appeared. How could a kingdom that had once been prosperous and strategically important along the Silk Road still disappear in the end? Over the years, people have proposed many different explanations. The most common one is the loss of water. Loulan depended on rivers and oasis systems to survive. Once the river changed course and less water reached the region, the oasis began to shrink.
Another explanation is that the climate became increasingly dry, which only made things worse. There is also another view that Loulan's fall was not caused by nature alone. A 2017 study published in Scientific Reports suggested that Loulan's decline may have been something like a human-driven environmental disaster.
Of course, others believe that environmental reasons were not the only cause. Political decline and shifts in trade routes may also have mattered, so in the end, Loulan probably did not disappear for just one reason. It was more likely the result of several forces working together: less water, environmental decline, human pressure, and shifting routes. And maybe that is exactly why the disappearance of Loulan still fascinates people today, because there is no single, simple answer. The silence did not end. A shocking ancient female corpse was discovered many years later. She was later known as the Beauty of Loulan. This mummy was discovered on the 1st of April 1980 by Chinese archaeologists, most notably archaeologist Mu Xunying. She was not found in a mountain chamber, but in an ancient tomb in the desert near Lop Nur, lying quietly for nearly 4,000 years. When most people hear a corpse thousands of years old, they think of white bones or unrecognizable remains. But the Beauty of Loulan was nothing like that. When she was found, her facial features were still clear, her eyelashes were visible, and her hair was well preserved. She was about 40 years old when she died, and her height was about 155 centimeters. She was wrapped in wool, leather, and linen, wearing leather boots and a felt hat. Beside her were wooden combs, baskets, winnowing trays, and even grains. This shows she was not abandoned in the desert, but buried with care. She had reddish-brown hair, distinct facial features, a high nose bridge, and clear facial lines. Her clothes and shoes showed signs of repeated mending, and there were even lice in her hair. These details prove she was a real person with a hard life. Why was she so well preserved? The answer is related to Lop Nur itself. Extreme dryness, little rain, high salt, and cold weather naturally dehydrated the body. The terrifying land of death today is exactly what preserved her until now. The most important significance of the Beauty of Loulan is not just her good preservation. Where did these people go? Why was their civilization swallowed by yellow sand? If the shock of the Beauty of Loulan stays in the ancient past, what happened next in Lop Nur brought this mystery straight into modern times. In 1980, another person who entered Lop Nur disappeared mysteriously. He is Peng Jiamu. In 1980, the Chinese Academy of Sciences organized a major scientific expedition into Lop Nur. Leading the team was the well-known scientist Peng Jiamu. At the time, the expedition was carrying out a broad scientific survey of the region, studying its environment, natural resources, and local conditions. But no one could have imagined that this mission would later turn into one of the most famous missing person mysteries in modern China. On the 17th of June 1980, at around 10:30 in the morning, Peng Jiamu suddenly left the camp. He didn't give much explanation. He only left behind a note with a sentence that would later be repeated over and over again. "I am going east to look for a well." After that, he never came back. At first, his teammates did not immediately realize how serious the situation would become. So the team immediately began searching in the direction he was believed to have gone. This was the first search, about 10 kilometers northeast of the camp. The search team found only a few traces, About 10 kilometers northeast of the camp, the search team found only a few traces. No sign of him, no more belongings, no clear trail to keep following. After Peng Jiamu disappeared, the state quickly organized a much larger search operation. The second large-scale search roughly took place between June 20 and the 26th of June 1980. More than 100 search personnel were involved, and air support was added as well. But once again, the result was the same: nothing. By July and August of 1980, a third search was launched. Police dogs were brought in, but even then, Peng Jiamu was still not found. By the fourth search, between November and December 1980, it was the largest and longest-lasting. This operation lasted 41 days, involved 1,029 personnel deployments, and covered roughly 1,011 square kilometers, 4 large-scale searches. Peng Jiamu seemed to have completely vanished from the wasteland of Lop Nur. Over time, it became one of the most famous unsolved mysteries in modern China. And it was only after all 4 searches had failed that the speculation surrounding Peng Jiamu's disappearance really began to explode. But among all the theories surrounding Peng Jiamu's disappearance, there is one story that keeps getting brought up again and again. And it is also the strangest one of them all. It is known as the Doublefish Jade Pendant. It should be said first that this object has never been officially confirmed. According to legend, back in the 1950s, a very unusual object was discovered near the Loulan ruins, close to Lop Nur. It looked like an ordinary jade pendant, but people claimed that it possessed a completely unexplainable power. It is said that when researchers began studying the Doublefish Jade Pendant, the sky suddenly changed. Thunder roared, lightning flashed, and then a strange white light shot out from the pendant. What had once been a single fish somehow became 2 and VO, and what made it truly terrifying was that the 2 fish looked almost exactly the same. Not only were they identical in appearance, but even the way they moved was perfectly synchronized, and the next day, the pendant showed another abnormal reaction. Some of the researchers themselves were allegedly replicated into identical copies. After that, many of the researchers either died or went insane. After the Cultural Revolution ended, the government allegedly resumed its secret investigation, with even the military becoming involved. There is even a widely repeated claim that China carried out multiple nuclear tests in Lop Nur to eliminate the so-called replicated people. But one version of the online rumor claims that on the back of that yellowed piece of paper, there was another line of writing: "He is here." On the night before Peng Jiamu disappeared, members of the expedition found a series of bizarre footprints identical to his boots. About 3 hours before he vanished, Peng Jiamu had frantically searched through all of the team's equipment, repeating, "The proportions are wrong. Everything is multiplying." During the search operation, rumors claimed that several dried corpses identical to Peng Jiamu were found near the camp. The Doublefish Jade Pendant was supposedly a kind of key, something capable of unlocking a forbidden law of duplication, a device that could copy living beings. Perhaps he realized that him walking out into the desert was not really him at all. There are countless strange rumors surrounding Lop Nur online, and that is exactly why this place has continued to carry such a unique and unsettling sense of mystery.
Today, this was only a brief introduction to Lop Nur, but the more you learn about this place, the more you realize that what makes it truly terrifying is never just the desert, death, and disappearances. It is the blank spaces that happened but still have no answers. Why did the ancient kingdom of Loulan disappear? Where did Peng Jiamu go? Is the Doublefish Jade Pendant just an urban legend? Or is there really some buried secret? Even today, Lop Nur remains one of the most mysterious places in China. If you are interested in this series or want me to cover one part in more detail, let me know, because the story of Lop Nur has only just begun. Maybe one day, as more research is done, some of these mysteries will finally be answered. But until then, Lop Nur will remain like a blank space buried beneath time and sand, and every story tied to this place keeps reminding us of the same thing. What makes a place truly terrifying is not knowing what happened there. It is never knowing what might still be hidden there. And if one day you had the chance to step into Lop Nur yourself, would you go,